Today we're going to do never too early 2028 presidential predictions. That's right. It is never too early. President Trump, resounding landslide victory, just what, 4 months ago? We're going to do 2028 right now. Who runs? Who doesn't? Who wins? We're going to do it all. We're going to do it. Okay? We're going to predict all the Democrats. We're going to predict all the Republicans who are going to run. And we're going to break it down as follows. We're going to break it down as Democrat pretenders, Democrat contenders, possible Democrat surprises, Republican presidential candidates, Republican VP candidates. Then I'll make my picks for both parties, and then I'll predict who will be elected president of the United States in 2028. So without further ado, here we go. We're going to start with the Democrats, and I got to tell you, folks, we got a huge fucking list. Big list. Okay, the Democrat Party is in complete disarray. They got progressives, we got the moderates, we got people from blue states, we got people who want to run in purple states, young, old. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Are they going to find their way? They got 4 years. Essentially, they got 2 years before they declare to find their way and then get some sort of a message, because right now nothing they're doing is working. But let's start off with the first group of what I am calling Democratic pretenders. First one on that list, Ruben Gallego. I know, I'm like you. I mean, probably 85 to 90% of the country doesn't even know who the fuck Ruben Gallego is. Okay, he just won the Senate race in Arizona. Again, I think there was some shady dealings there for him to win, beat Kerry Lake. Nonetheless, he won it. He's a new senator, and all of a sudden people are saying, well, maybe he's going to run for president in 2028. So let's just get that right out of the way. He's not running at all. Okay? Next one up, again, another person with no name recognition, Jon Ossoff, senator from Georgia. He's got his own Senate race to worry about in 2026. There's some people, I don't even know who these people are, that are saying he's potentially a 2028 candidate. He is not running for president in 2028. Again, we're going to throw his name in there. Next one up, the governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper. Every time I listen to this guy, he sounds dumber than the next. I don't know what the hell people see in him. He's not running, but we throw him in there. Now you want to talk about a real bozo. Let's talk about the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy. This guy is just, I don't have any other way to describe it. He's a complete asshole, to be honest with you. So, again, there's some buzz. He's got a lot of money. He's got some backing behind him. He's not running. That's not going to happen. Now we get to two really fun ones, okay? We get to the governor of the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. That's right, J.D. Pritzker. I don't think I have to say much more.
Look at how fat you are.
Oh, he is very fat. That is one thing we know about J.D. Pritzker.
Look at how fat you are.
Yeah, he's an extremely heavy governor of the state of Illinois. He's making a lot of buzz. He's on X every day, razzing, trying to get things going with Trump. He's not in Trump's league. He's not in anyone's league. He's not going to be running.
Bad guy in a little coat.
Look at that.
Bad guy in a little coat.
Even Chris Foley knows that J.D. Pritzker is a fat guy in a little coat. Yeah, J.D. Pritzker, bye-bye. Okay? Take your act somewhere else. Go eat a cheesesteak somewhere. The last one, Tim Walz. Here's another one. Governor of Minnesota, failed vice presidential candidate. How much did he embarrass himself being Kamala Harris's running mate? The two of them completely embarrassed themselves. But again, there's some buzz that he wants to run for president. I will
Got some tampons. I should be getting my period really soon.
Oh, my God. Tampon Tim. No, Tampon Tim's not running, okay? He's not running. Forget it. We're going to go on to the next list of Democratic pretenders. These have even more buzz than the first list. I don't understand it, but let's go through them one by one. First one up, Mark Cuban. Can anyone embarrass himself more than what Mark Cuban did in the last election? Backing Kamala Harris, saying all the things that I think are so asinine it wasn't even funny. Mark Cuban's been teasing a run for president now for about 3 cycles. He's not running. Okay, forget it. I don't know if he's just trying to promote his Shark Tank show, but he's not running for president, and he never will. First of all, I believe there's plenty of skeletons in his closet that he wouldn't run anyway. He's not running. Next one up, this is an interesting one. A lot of buzz. John Fetterman, senator from Pennsylvania. Again, he went from a laughingstock, suffered the minor stroke. Now he's become almost a party darling for some, although there are a lot of people out there that actually think he's gonna turn over to the other side and become a Republican. He's certainly talking a lot like a Republican. His viewpoints sound a lot like a Republican. Wouldn't surprise me at some point if he flips over, but there's some buzz that he'll run for president on the Democratic side in 2028. He is not going to do that. That is just not going to happen. Next one up is the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore. Now, this is a bright, young, rising star of the party, but I believe Wes Moore will decide not to run this particular time around. Wes Moore will become a player in the Democratic Party, probably in 2032 and beyond. There's probably a place for him either on the top of the ticket or the bottom of the ticket. But for 2028, he will not run for president of the United States. Next one up is our good, who is our next one up? Oh, it's the minority leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries. Again, a lot of buzz for Hakeem Jeffries. A lot of people are supporting him. Brooklyn-born, has a good spiel going for him, but this is not going to be the time he's going to run for president. I don't know if he'll ever run for president. It won't be in 2028. It's not going to happen. But he gets a lot of buzz. Isn't going to be there. Now we talk about two biggies. AOC. I don't even know what else we're going to say about AOC, to be quite honest with you. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to say about AOC. No, I don't think I meant to do. Did I? Yeah, maybe. Come on, stop that. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She will not run for president. I guess the entire Democratic Party thinks that she's the answer. She's actually the nightmare for that party. I think the quicker they get rid of her and the rest of the squad, the quicker the party can actually find their way and start to get back to some sort of relevancy. But AOC, she's got the followers, she's the activist, she's the influencer, she's doing cooking videos, makeup videos, she loves to get on camera. She's just...
I'm really not that smart.
But that's what everyone's saying. I know you're not that smart, but that's what happens.
I can handle things, I'm smart! Not like everybody says! Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect!
Well, I don't think you're going to get that respect. With all due respect, AOC, that's not coming your way. And you're not running for president. You're a pretender, and you're not running. The last one on the list. This is the one the Democratic Party always prays about, hopes for. Michelle Obama. She's not going to run for president. I don't believe Michelle Obama is ever going to run for president. She's basically said many times she hates politics. She hates the whole game of politics. I think she'd be very good at it. Barack was certainly a master politician. Michelle Obama doesn't like this game at all, but
That's not your mother, it's a man, baby!
Oh, stop that. So who's saying that type of stuff? My God. Michelle Obama is not show. She's not running for president, okay? I can't help it, but she's not doing it. All right, let's go on to the Democratic contenders. Here's another good batch of them. These are the people who I actually think are going to declare and run in 2028. They'll declare probably sometime in late 2026. But now we're going to get to a list that I do believe are going to declare and run for president in 2028 on the Democratic side. First one up is Tim Ryan. Yeah, Tim Ryan lost, got his ass kicked by J.D. Vance for the Senate race in Ohio. But Tim Ryan is a moderate. At least he pretends to be. But he seems to lose everything he tries. He tried to run against Nancy Pelosi for the speakership when he was in the House. He lost that. He ran against J.D. Vance. He lost against that. He's going to make another run. He's going to give you this whole big moderate line that, he's the working class guy. He comes from a working class town, all that stuff. He's going to run. He'll get a little bit of support. Basically, he'll go nowhere is what's going to happen to him. Andrew Yang's another one. He's run for president before. I think he's waiting for his chance to run again. Again, a moderate or pretends to be a moderate. I don't think he's that moderate. But he's got a good spiel. He's got a good line. He's going to run for president. Again, he'll have a little bit of a following, maybe 3-4%. But he's not going to really go anywhere in the 2028 race. Now we get to Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan. Okay? A lot of clamoring. This is going to be the female that's going to break the glass ceiling. Everyone's waiting for her. I got to tell you, I've never been impressed with Gretchen Whitmer. Her policies are awful. She's not that quick on her feet. She's really not that smart to begin with, to be honest with you. Okay, she's in a blue-leaning state, which President Trump defeated. I think she's going to get talked into running. I think she thinks she could possibly do well. She will get a lot of money from donors. She's going to go nowhere in the race for president. Next one up is Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna, congressman, California, and again has money. A lot of Silicon Valley money, has some moderate ideas, has some out-of-the-box ideas. A lot of people like what he stands for. But again, he's really also got some extremely progressive ideas. He's from California. California, at this point, any politician running for higher office is pretty much the kiss of death at this point. He'll make a decent enough showing to garner 5, 6, maybe even 7% of support. He'll never get anywhere near the amount of support he will to win the nomination. Ro Khanna will run, but won't get there. The next two we got, here's the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear. It's an interesting one. Okay, he's not very flashy, but he's won the governorship twice in a red state. You got to give him that. He's got moderate views. He's got money. His family's got money. He's got backers. I believe he will run for president in 2028. I think he could make a decent enough showing to possibly become somewhat of a contender. Maybe he gets again in that 6, 7, 8% range. But overall, he will get knocked out at some point along the way in the race. Now we go to Cory Booker. Cory Booker. Yeah, that's Cory Booker. You know that Cory Booker. That's what we call Spartacus, right?
I am Spartacus!
Yes, that is Spartacus.
He sure is a Spartacus-looking motherfucker.
Oh, my God. Did you hear that? Yeah, Spartacus, the senator from New Jersey. He's tried to run for president once before unsuccessfully. I believe he's going to give it another shot in 2028. I think he'll do fair. I mean, look, it's the Democratic Party. They don't have anybody. So, he's a good bullshitter. Okay, he'll come off as being moderate. He's got some constituencies that obviously would appeal to a lot of people, but ultimately, maybe again, garners 8 to 10%, but he's not up to the task of winning the nomination. He'll fall short. Cory Booker, Spartacus will be going bye-bye. Now let's talk about, let's go to the 4 last nominees on the Democratic side. And let's talk first about Mayor Pete. This guy can't get enough of politics. I don't know what he's doing. Who knows what kinds of schemes he's got going on, but he just wants to be everywhere around politics. You try and get rid of him like a bad penny, he keeps coming back. Department of Transportation, he fucked that up. I mean, he wasn't a good mayor. He's been a horrible presidential candidate. He'll run again for president. Mayor Pete is going to run, guaranteed.
What an annoying scumbag.
Yeah, and he is an annoying scumbag. But look, he's going to run for president. He'll get his following again, 8-10%. He's going nowhere, but let him run. What the hell? Now we come to Greasy Gavin. Greasy Gavin Newsom, Satan, as I like to call him. Yeah, he's going to run. He doesn't care about the LA fires, how badly he performed, that he should have been recalled, that he's the worst governor, that California ranks last in just about every major metric. It doesn't matter to Gavin Newsom. He's going to run. This guy is determined to try and become president. He's never going to become president, but he is going to run. That's for certain.
You fucking piece of shit.
Look, a lot of people think that. I mean, they really...
You fucking piece of shit.
Look, that's who he is. He's a fucking piece of shit, okay? He'll get his following. Again, might garner 10, 11%. Overall, California guy. California's on fire. He's on fire. He's evil. He's satanic. He's going nowhere. Now we come to the last 2. We talk about Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro is a guy to watch out for. Okay? Moderate, good record. Pennsylvania likes him. Battleground state, a state that is one of those 3 or 4 battleground states that absolutely is going to need to be won in order to win the presidency. Josh Shapiro, very strong contender for a 2028 run. He will run and he will perform very, very strongly. So look out for Josh Shapiro. Last one, Kamala Harris, word salad city. That's right. That's our girl. That's our girl, Kamala.
What a dummy.
Really? Well, yeah, she is a dummy. But she's going to run again in 2028, that's for sure. She's going to crash and burn. But Kamala is convinced. She's got backers. She's got money because she ran in 2024. Who knows where all the money went? Some say as high as $2.5 million she raised. No one can still find the money. She's going to run again in 2028, and she's going to crash and burn again in 2028.
You got that, moron?
Yeah, that moron's going to run again. She will not do well. Let's talk about a couple of Democratic surprises. Yeah, okay. First one up, Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, that's Stephen A. Smith. Yep, the sports guy, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has got a really good line of bullshit. He's a good speaker. He's starting to speak a lot more on political viewpoints. And his viewpoints are fairly moderate, believe it or not. He actually makes a lot of sense until you really get into some of his policies. But he's a good talker. He's popular. There are people in Democratic circles that would like to see Stephen A. Smith run for president. They think a fresh face outside of politics is exactly what's needed. I know. Look, I understand it, but he might get talked into running. I'll tell you whether I think he is in a second. Let's get to the other big surprise, and that is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He flirted with it in 2024. He's wildly popular. He's popular on both ends. He's popular with Republicans. He's popular with Democrats. He is a Democrat. He's got moderate views. He's a great speaker. He's a bright guy. He's built like a brick shithouse, that's for sure. Both Stephen A. Smith and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will not run for president. But I'm throwing them in there as surprises, folks. Now let's go to the Republican side. Let's talk about that. Let's first talk about presidential candidates before we even get into VP candidates, okay? Now, the thinking is President Trump, obviously, he's finishing up his second term at the end of 2028. He's not going to run, although he's going to continue to tease the public because he loves to just yank their chain that he's going to run for a third term. He has no intention of doing it, but he loves doing it. And the press and the fake news love to go along with that narrative. J.D. Vance appears to be the VP in waiting that's going to become the presidential candidate. He is going to run, obviously. J.D. Vance will run for president. Now the question remains, will Donald Trump endorse him? Now, he was asked that question just recently, and he said that he was not endorsing J.D. Vance. He didn't say because he didn't like him. Obviously, he's doing a fantastic job as vice president. But there's a little sleeper there, and that is Donald Trump Jr. Now, Jr. is wildly popular in the Republican Party. And obviously, if he decided to run, he would run against J.D. Vance. That sets up a very sticky situation. But President Trump would endorse his son, Donald Trump Jr. Okay? Let's just clear that one up for you right now. I do not believe that Donald Trump Jr. is going to run for president. I just don't. I believe J.D. Vance will obviously run for president. I don't believe anyone is even going to run against him. He will be the Republican nominee for president of the United States in 2028. So let's go to the Republican VP candidates and who's going to pair up with J.D. Vance. Let's do that right now. So let's talk about some candidates that are probably on the lesser known side or the ones that probably don't have a chance at being chosen by nominee Vance, but they're rising stars. They all have a lot to offer. We're going to start off with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, rising star in the party. She'll get a lot of buzz as a female candidate for VP. The next one up is going to be Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, Vivek obviously had a strong run for president in 2024. He will be the governor of Ohio, and I do not believe he will want to leave that post yet. Vivek, very young, has plenty of more years to run for president. He intends to run for president. I don't think he wants to even be a vice presidential candidate. He wants to run for president. It won't be against J.D. Vance. Vivek has a future running for president, a future date, 2020, 2032, 36. He's so young, but he will not run for vice president, or he will not be chosen for vice president. Byron Donalds, another rising star, but again, Byron Donalds is going to run for governor, my prediction. He will win the governorship of Florida. He'll only be a couple of years into that, and won't want to leave that post yet. Again, another rising star in the Republican Party, but as governor, J.D. Vance, as the presidential candidate, will not tap him. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, governor of Arkansas. A lot of people thinking she could run for president. Will she be a great vice presidential candidate? My prediction is she would be a great VP candidate, but J.D. Vance will not choose her. We got two more from the current Trump cabinet. First one up, Sean Duffy. Used to be a congressman of Wisconsin, was on Fox News. He's doing a great job in Trump's cabinet right now. Also has a big career. Could definitely see a senator or a governor run for Sean Duffy in the future, but he will not be tapped as vice presidential candidate. And then our Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who had the Dems tried really hard to keep him out of that post. He is doing a bang-up job. When all said and done, at the end of Trump's term, he could go down as one of the best defense secretaries, in history, and could be a great vice presidential candidate. J.D. Vance will not choose him as well. Now we're going to go to ones that I think are going to be real strong candidates that J.D. Vance will strongly consider. We start off with Lee Zeldin, also in the Trump cabinet, EPA secretary, and he would be certainly a strong candidate. Glenn Youngkin would be a strong VP candidate. He will probably run for senator in Virginia for the 2026 race. If he does become a senator in 2026, which I believe if he runs, he will win, he will not elect to want to leave that post and become a vice presidential candidate. Ron DeSantis, what can we say about Ron? I mean, big future ahead of him, kind of derailed it. Trump kind of put a little bit of a kibosh on Ron's future. Maybe it wasn't the time to run against Trump. He did. He paid the price, and he might pay the price a little bit more. He will not become the vice presidential candidate. Here's a couple of interesting ones for you. Charlie Kirk. That's right, Charlie Kirk. Great podcaster. Played a major role, him and his team at Turning Point, major role in winning the 2024 election for President Trump. There's going to be a lot of buzz. This is a guy who is only right now 31 years old. Okay? I don't even know if he's qualified. I'd have to check. I have to check his birthday to see if he'll be 35 in 28. I'm guessing he will be qualified at 35. But there's a lot of buzz that he might have some sort of a career in politics if he wants to, in terms of running for high office. I think at some point Charlie might decide to run for high office. It's not going to be for VP in 2028, that's for sure. I know that him and JD get along really well. They've become really good friends. But I don't think in terms of JD choosing him as a VP candidate, Charlie Kirk will be the choice there. Then we go to Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, doing a great job early on in the Trump administration, great experience, ran for president before, is doing all the right things now, is saying all the right things, has huge contacts, he has good donors, could be a strong VP candidate, wouldn't cancel it out as a possibility. But I think the next guy that we're going to talk about, and we did talk about him as president, Donald Trump Jr., I believe will be J.D. Vance's running mate as vice president, to form an amazing team, to keep the MAGA field going, to keep the Trump name running. And what it could potentially set up here is it could set up a situation where you've got J.D. Vance winning the presidency in 2028 and in 32, and then Donald Trump Jr., who's still young, he's only in his 40s, he takes the helm 2036, 2040. You could have a really amazing, dynamic run of Republican leaders at VP and president for a long time, folks. Watch that one. J.D. Vance, the top of the ticket. Donald Trump Jr., the bottom of the ticket, 2028. Now let's go to the next one here. My prediction, as I said, I think it's going to be J.D. Vance running and picking Donald Trump Jr. on the Democratic side. Here's my pick. It's going to be the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. And Josh Shapiro, so here's where we get down to brass tacks, folks. Okay? On the Republican side, I believe the Republican ticket is going to be J.D. Vance, Donald Trump Jr. This is potentially an explosive, dynamic ticket, a fantastic ticket. On the Democratic side, I believe... Now, let me make one... Before I get to the Democratic side, let me make one caveat here. Because the caveat is, does Donald Trump Jr. want to get into politics? Does he want to get into the fray? He plays such a huge role even now in 2024, and he always will be. Behind the scenes, he's pulling a lot of the shots. He's calling a lot of the shots. He's pulling a lot of the strings. But does he want to actually get out front and be J.D. Vance's running mate in 2028? I'm predicting he will. But if he doesn't, my prediction is then it will come down to a VP candidate that J.D. Vance will either choose Byron Donalds or he will choose Lee Zeldin. Those are the two that I believe that J.D. Vance will pick as a presidential candidate, only if Donald Trump Jr., who J.D. will absolutely ask first and really want, it's his to take as VP if he wants it. If he takes it, it's his. If he doesn't, VP slot's going to be either Byron Donalds, Lee Zeldin. Okay, let's go to the Democratic side. Democrat, you see him up there. He's the only one on the screen. Josh Shapiro will become the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. I am not even going to try and pick a vice presidential candidate. It could be any one of the whack jobs that we just featured previously. Josh Shapiro could actually become a very, very strong candidate if he goes up against J.D. Vance, which I believe that's going to be the matchup. Josh Shapiro, he talks the talk. He kind of walks the walk. They're looking for younger. He's younger. You know, he plays the whole little basketball thing. He'll do the podcast thing. He talks well, has good thoughts, moderate. This could be a fascinating race, guys. Okay, so what we have is we have a matchup. J.D. Vance against Josh Shapiro. We already talked about the potential VPs. Now we're going to pick the winner. Let's go to the slide. There is your 2028 winner, folks. The 2028 President of the United States will be President J.D. Vance, and his vice president will be Donald Trump Jr. You heard it here first. It's going to happen. It's going to be wildly successful. This is going to be a wild ride. If you thought 2024 was crazy, buckle up. This is going to be fucking crazy. That's my predictions, 2028. You take care. We'll see you back here real soon.